All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome once again to the LMN Live Virtual Classroom. My name is Chris Davies. I'm the Senior Education Specialist here with LMN. And today we're going to be actually offering you guys a special session where over the next, well, technically 3 sessions, we're going to be walking you guys through how you guys can use LMN for snow removal work. And yeah, we're going to be looking at it in a little bit of a different light today over the next 3 sessions and show you guys how LMN can help you guys manage your overall snow operations. So what exactly are we going to be taking a look at this week? Well, let's take a look at our agenda first. So in today's session, I'm going to show you guys how you can learn how to build your snow estimate so you can accurately price out your snow removal work, whether it be for residential or for commercial work. Now, today we're actually going to be focusing more on a residential side of things or a more residential aspect to a degree, just to kind of give you guys the basics on how you can use LMN for your estimates. And of course, in session number 2, we'll show you guys how you can set up your digital snow binders and your overall routes for snow removal. And of course, in session number 3, we're going to be showing you guys how you can invoice your customers and get paid for doing that snow removal work. But again, we are going to be looking at this over the next 3 sessions in more of a residential type aspect. But again, it's going to give you a good idea how you can use the same methods moving forward for commercial work. Now, we also want to show you today how you can turn those estimates into snow contracts or proposals with your client notes, your terms and conditions, and of course, the overall contract so that your customers know exactly what they're agreeing to, being that you are going to be their snow contractor. And finally, we'll show you that how once everything is set up and created, how you can create that actual proposal and get it sent off to your customers quick, fast, and in a hurry so your customers can sign on that dotted line and make sure that you are their contractor of choice when it comes to their snow removal operations. So today's session is going to be primarily focused on estimating, right? How you guys can create snow estimates in your accounts. So that way, again, it's going to be very easy for you to move forward. So in that regard, we are going to start using service estimates. Now, before we get into that, why are you here? And well, why should you be using LMN for your snow removal work? Well, let's take a look at these actual individual points one at a time. We want to basically improve your overall cash flow situation that you've got with your company. We understand here at LMN that it's not just as important to make sure that money is coming into the company, but we understand that you have money going out of the company, right? You have bills to pay. Now, when it comes to snow removal, we know that you've got equipment to possibly purchase, lease, finance, whatever the case may be. Maybe you own it. And if that's the case, well, good for you, right? You own that equipment. But at the same time, you're probably picking up salt or de-icing materials, which have a cost associated, which means money going out. So basically, LMN is going to help you guys improve your overall cash flow situation by ensuring that no matter, even though you've got money coming in, we also understand that you've got enough money coming in and it's coming in quick enough to balance out the money that's going out. Now, another feature that's available with LMN and the LMN software is that you have GPS and time-stamped data on your snow crews to help with, well, insurance liability, right? So we want to ensure that for those of you that are using our LMN Crew mobile app to track your actual snow operations, make sure that your crews know that they need to do before and after photos. And of course, make sure that when you guys set up your job types, which we'll be talking about a little bit in our session this morning, that you've actually got your weather notes turned on. So this is going to ensure that your customers, as well as yourselves, have all the actual information of what's going on when your crews are actually handling a snow event. So when they're out in the field doing their route and clearing all those driveways in this case, because again, remember today we're going to be talking more of a residential side of things, but more specifically, we want to ensure that your customers also know exactly what the weather was like and what you guys want to know what the weather was like while your crews were there. Was it heavy snow? Was it light snow? Was it just flurries? Situations like that. But what was the temperature? And of course, we also want to make sure that you guys are capturing before and after photos, right? What did the actual property look like, or the snow removal area? What did it look like when you guys are before you started? And what did it look like when you were finished? And of course, if you guys are applying any de-icing materials such as salt or some certain types of chemicals, well, you want to make sure that you recorded that information, but also taken a photo of that application. So that, of course, you guys know that you've got yourselves covered. If there is a slip and fall opportunity or an event that happens shortly thereafter, you know that you did what you were required to do. You've got photographic evidence that you did it. And of course, you've got digital information in weather instructions that, of course, that you did that information or what the weather was like while you did that. Now, another point that we're going to be making over these next 3 sessions is providing your crews with digital snow binders so that your crews have the information that they need. Now, why is this important? Well, we want to improve the overall efficiency in your snow removal operations. So making sure that your crews have everything that they need to know about the actual snow removal, whether it be about the property, whether it be whether to pile the snow locations, where they're not to pile snow locations, maybe for those of you that are doing commercial snow removal, ensuring that they know exactly what areas to clear, because in some cases, if you're looking at plaza locations or strip mall locations, that they're not to clear the entire area because they've only been contracted for one certain spot, maybe. Well, let's make sure that they know what that certain spot is to clear. So by creating digital snow binders, which you'll learn about in session number 2, well, we'll be able to show you guys how your crews will have all the accurate information so that they know exactly what to clear and when to clear it and where to pile their snow locations and so on and so forth. Now, you can also provide your crews with path locations or plowing path locations. So again, although today we are going to be focusing primarily on residential, now when you're doing commercial, where you're doing parking lots and or loading areas or whatever the case may be, depending on, of course, your customers, you want to make sure your crews know the most efficient way to plow that area. So if it's a parking lot, what is the best way for them to get in and get out and clear that parking lot as quickly as possible? So provide your actual crews with a plowing route. So again, it makes it really nice and easy for them to know, oh, okay, I'm here, I'm at this property. I know I've got to start here, finish here, and this is the way I'm going to do it to be more efficient, right? So we can move on to our next location. Well, speaking of next locations, we want to be able to provide you guys with easy snow routing. So your crews know where they need to go or when they're mobilizing to do or to handle an actual snow event, where they need to go and in the order in which they need to do those actual locations, right? Again, let's make them more efficient. So let's spend more time on the actual job site doing what you've been contracted to do, clear snow, versus driving around aimlessly. And I say aimlessly very loosely, but driving around from job site to job site, right? Let's optimize it so that's in a very clear path. It's structured, and of course, it makes them more efficient, right? We can get more work done, less time with unproductive or unbillable work. And the bonus, right? What is the final reason why you guys should be using LMN for snow removal work? Well, for my owner friends that are out there today, okay, bear in mind that you don't necessarily need to be, well, at home, right, in order for you to see what's actually going on. Keep in mind, everybody, that LMN is basically, it's a digital platform, right? It's a URL that you can log into. So if you decide that you want to take, or that you're a snowbird and you want to head down into warmer climates for the snow season, and trust me, I don't blame you for that one. But more importantly, if you decide that you want to spend 2 weeks in the Bahamas or in Jamaica or in Florida or whatever the case may be, well, go ahead and do so. Now, if it's up to you to oversee the overall operations, well, guess what? You can do that while you're away, right? Most of these resorts these days have Wi-Fi, right? So simply log into your LMN account and you'll be able to see what's been going on. You'll be able to see where your crews were, that all your events have been handled, right? And so on and so forth. So again, you will be able to see that your snow operations are in good hands back at the office, even though you might be sitting beside the pool having a Mai Tai, okay? Doesn't matter, right? You guys will have that freedom to be able to view your snow operations from anywhere. Now, if you should decide to stay at home, well, good for you, right? You're overseeing or managing your operations in a real live environment. All right. So those are just a couple of the main reasons or a couple summary points of why you guys should be using LMN for snow removal work. So let's get into using estimating or LMN for estimating for snow removal work. And the first thing we want to talk about, or at least get a good understanding, is what type of estimate should I be using of the two that LMN offers in order for me to do my estimates accurately. So we're going to recommend that you guys use service estimates. And LMN service estimates are basically used for recurring work. And although we don't want to admit it, okay, snow removal operations is repeatable. It is recurring work. Now, maybe for some of you, it hasn't been too much of an extensive amount of snow removal work over the past few years, right? I'm in Toronto, and I could probably count on one hand the amount of times that I actually cleared my own driveway last year. But okay, in many cases, snow removal operations is a very big deal, right? And we want to make sure that it's done on a repeatable basis, or at least set up for repeatable work. So this is why we're going to be using service estimates. Now, the other reason why you guys are going to want to use service estimates for snow removal operations is because it does allow you different billing types, right? Standard estimates, and I guess for those of you that do design build work as well as maintenance work, you already know how you guys can create a standard estimate for a design build job with milestone payments, right? Where you can have a deposit, project start, project completed, however way you want to set them up. But with service estimates, this is where you can set up yearly or seasonal contracts, or you can do time and material work and charge per the hour, or you can do a flat rate per visit or per push price, so that you guys can basically charge your customers based on, of course, your pricing methods, right? You can price out accurately or with variances or variables, right? Maybe provide your customers with some options. So we're going to show you that today in our actual example on how you guys can actually put together service estimates with varying billing types, depending on what the customer is actually looking for. But more importantly, how we can make it really nice and easy for you to be able to get those proposals out to your customers, okay? And keep it nice and simple, right? So again, we want to make this really, really easy for you moving forward. So before we actually walk into our demo, what are some of the best practices that LMN would recommend when it comes to creating your actual estimates for snow removal work? Well, first things first, okay? One of the features that are built into LMN, and this is something that we're going to be looking at, or at least walking through in some simple detail today, is the site measurement tool. So if you guys are pricing out your work based on the size of the property, well, you can use the site measurement tool to quickly price out your work, or at least get an understanding of what the overall size of the area is that needs to be cleared, so that you guys can price out accordingly. Now, another feature that we would want to recommend that you guys do is do something called create an estimate template, okay? And this is a little bit different than your basic work area or service templates that you might have already been creating in your accounts. But this is something called an estimate template, where you could basically create a full estimate based on the different variances or the different variables of pricing that you might have, or whatever the case may be, that you can simply copy over to a new customer and quickly create an estimate for them and get it over to them. So again, we'll walk through that in a little bit of detail today. Now, another thing that we would generally recommend as a best practice when it comes to setting up your LMN account for snow removal work is maybe understand the big picture, or the overall flow of how things work. And realistically, when it comes to estimating, it kind of starts off with your price list. So in your price list, you should have a category created in your account for snow removal, or just simply call it snow, whatever the case may be. But just by using that simple prefix as well as that category, every single item that you guys are going to be using for snow removal operations will allow you to find those items quickly and easily. So if you do have a crew truck with a plow, or you have a loader, or you have a skid steer that you might be using for snow operations specifically, well, just put in a little prefix on those line items. And of course, remember, you guys can have that line item in your actual price list twice, one as just a skid steer and one as a snow skid steer, right? Keeping things really nice and easy for you. Now, the estimate templates and creating estimates within LMN does make things a little bit easier, but if you create a proposal with different billing types, it can provide your customers with some options. So your customer may be looking at paying per push, or your customer may be looking at a very simplified, seasonal contract where, you quote out, let's say 10, 15 visits over the course of the winter season or snow removal season, and they pay one bill a month for maybe 4 visits a month or 8 visits a month or whatever the cases might be. So again, contracting, or maybe they just want time and material. Bill me by the hour. It takes you an hour to do it. What's my charge going to be? And so on and so forth. So let's create, or I'm going to show you today how you can create one estimate with varying billing types depending on, and of course, sorry, before I kind of cut myself on that one, but essentially, having one estimate with varying billing types can basically alleviate the need of a lot of back and forth. So if you send your customer a monthly contract and they say, yeah, you know what, I don't think you're going to be coming that much. Why don't you do it on a per push basis? How you can easily take that original estimate and send them over a revised version with per push pricing, or maybe time and material, whatever the case may be. Now, over the next couple sessions, you're also going to learn how we want to keep things really nice and simple for your crews to basically use snow operations or to be able to get the information that they need with our LMN Crew mobile app. So, of course, we're going to make sure that we show you how you guys can keep things really simple, and simple works best. Okay. And again, we want your crew spending more time working or being productive versus being unproductive. All right. So again, less time interacting with our LMN Crew mobile app, although it is pretty cool, but more time actually clearing the actual snow that they've been hired or that your company has been hired to do. Right. Let's keep things really nice and easy. All right. So before I get into our demonstration today, or before I start walking through snow removal operations today and how you guys can use your LMN accounts, I just wanted to quickly remind everybody that if you have any questions at any given time throughout the course of this session or any of our other 2 sessions, please hit that chat button at the very bottom of your screen, right? You know, the little Zoom toolbar, you can see it, I can see it. So if you have any questions about snow removal work or how LMN is being used for snow removal work, hit that little chat button at the very bottom of your screen and ask away, right? That's why I'm here, not just to walk you guys through it, but to answer any of the questions that you have. So please hit that chat button, and please don't wait until the very end of our session today. Hit me up as soon as you guys have a question. All right, I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. So that aside, we're going to be hopping into LMN now, and we're going to be walking through estimating with LMN for snow removal work. So once you get into your LMN account, okay, there's going to be a couple things that you guys are going to want to set up in order for you guys to be successful when it comes to snow removal operations. So when you guys are looking at this in total, or when you guys are looking to get set up to make things really easy, where are you going to get going? Well, like I said in my introduction, or when I started talking about some of the reasons why you guys should be using LMN for snow removal, I talked about job types and maybe weather notes. So in your job types, okay, you already have this set up. When you guys first signed on with LMN, we provided you guys with a very simplified or basic list of job types preset in your actual LMN account. Now, if you've gone ahead and created more job types in your account, great. You guys have learned what a job type is, you know what they're for, and how they're going to get used. But for those of you that haven't yet, maybe you're new to LMN, or maybe you just haven't had a chance to play around with this feature yet, make sure that you go into your actual job types menu and set yourself up with a job type for snow. Now, it could be snow, it could be snow and ice removal, it could be snow production or operations. There's no right way or wrong way. Okay. Remember, the LMN account that's in front of you right now, it's yours, right? So you make it do what you need it to do, not what we're telling you is the right way or the wrong way. Okay. It works differently for everybody. So again, you do you on this one. All right. So again, you could have a snow job type or snow and ice removal job type or whatever the case may be, right? Again, there are no right ways and wrong ways to set this up. Now, when you look at your snow and ice removal job type, okay, we got to know that, or we have to, or we should, okay, at least make sure that this job category is production, right? You guys, although you are removing or reallocating snow from one place to another place, it is still production, right? You guys are still doing billable work in this case, all right? So make sure that your job category is set to production. Now, at the very bottom, you've got some varying prompt settings, right? So there's 4 different ones that are available for you that should get set up. Now, I recommend that you turn all of these on by default, okay? So again, it just keeps things really nice and easy because you, as the, operations manager, owner, or what have you, salesperson maybe within your company, you want to know or you want to get feedback from the field. What did your crew actually do while they were on the job site or while they were visiting that commercial park or that commercial building or whatever the case may be? What was actually done? Give me some feedback or give me some indication as to what you did. So again, we want to make sure that we've got our task notes turned on. Okay, so again, this is going to ask your crews when they're clocking out or finishing up their actual visit, what did you do while you were there, right? Again, it could be very, very simple, right? Cleared snow, snow removal done, salted or cleared and salted parking lot, whatever the case may be, okay? Next, this one's important, right? And you might not think it is, but it is, okay? Weather comments, okay? Turn this on, and I'll be completely upfront with you guys. You should have this one turned on for all of your job types. It doesn't matter if it's snow removal, mowing, if it's for design build, for installation work, for seeding, fertilizing, it doesn't matter, okay? Weather comments should be turned on. Why? Well, because this is an easy one, right? Weather comments in LMN do not have to be filled out by your crew. Okay, this is not something that your crew lead or your foreman is actually going to have to listen to the radio for or open up an app and figure out what the weather is like and then enter in that note. Okay, this is not the way it works. Okay, this is a nice little LMN shortcut for you guys in case you haven't heard about this one before. The LMN weather comments, okay, or in the weather comments capture field in this one is actually automatic, okay? It's automated for easily or for it to be easily entered in. Now, you guys all know that you have a weather app on your phone, whether you're on an iPhone, or whether you're on an Android, doesn't matter, right? You have a weather app and it's what we use literally every morning before we go to work. Do I need to wear a sweater today? Do I need to wear a t-shirt? Can I wear shorts today? Do I need to wear long pants and socks? Okay. What are the different, or what do I need to know about what the weather's or what the weather's going to be like today in order for me to dress appropriately? Well, that same information that the app gets, okay, the app or the weather app that's on your device is actually getting that information from the nearest cell tower, right? So if you're looking at what the weather is currently like in Toronto, well, it's getting the information from a weather band, okay? And that weather band is being broadcast to all the local cell towers. And just like the LMN Crew mobile app is capturing the GPS location of your crew, it's also capturing the weather data that's also being sent along that cell signal. So LMN, rather than having your crews actually manually input that information, we're just going to borrow that information from that cell signal and drop it right into your weather comments. So although this is feedback that you guys are going to be asking for your crews, this is something that your crews do not need to actually manually enter. Okay, it's done automatic and it will be done for every single job site that they visit, right? So if the weather does change throughout the course of their run, it will change accordingly. Now, the equipment comments, this is entirely up to you. This is so that you guys can track, okay, or measure how long a certain piece of equipment has been used in the field. All right, now again, entirely up to you guys how you want to use it. But if you guys are using maybe higher end pieces of equipment like loaders and or skid steers or snow plows, okay, specifically, and you want to track how long that snow plow or that loader has been used in the field to do your snow removal operations, you can actually have your crews indicate, yes, while we were on this property at this company or for this commercial snow removal operation, we used this piece of equipment for this amount of time. Now, this also will require a little bit of additional setup, okay? So what you guys are going to want to do, if this is a feature that you guys want to use, please be aware that the equipment comments or the equipment time tracking or in-field tracking has got nothing to do with job costing. Okay, so we're not going to be talking about job costing that one or how this applies to job costing because it doesn't, right? So essentially what you guys can look at is if you go into your settings menu and under your timesheet settings, take a look at equipment. Okay, you can build out a list of pieces of equipment so you can track how many hours this piece of equipment was used in the field. I do want to be really, really clear with everybody on this one as well, that when you guys are looking at building out your list or at least identifying certain pieces of equipment that are going to be used specifically for your snow operations, this will not indicate that your crew maybe hopped on a skid steer for an hour or 30 minutes or even 10 minutes, okay? This is going to basically track a piece of equipment from clock in time or punch in time to punch out time, right? So if I'm on a job site from 7 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the morning, right, for those 3 hours, it's just going to basically show that that piece of equipment was used in those 3 hours, okay? But more importantly, it was used in the field for those 3 hours, right? That's what it's going to do for you. So to simply add in your pieces of equipment. So again, I can go look at my skid steer, my snow plow, whatever the case may be, and click on that add new button up in the top right-hand corner, enter in that piece of equipment name. This list, just so everybody understands, and we're going to be taking a look at this in one of our subsequent sessions, more probably in session number 3. But when you guys are actually tracking these pieces of equipment, it will provide your crews with a drop-down list or a very, very easy to find menu of selectables. They don't have to know that they have to type in SNOW plow or skid steer or whatever the case may be. Okay, it does make things really nice and easy for them just by providing them with a list of which ones they need to select, right? Again, keeping things really, really straightforward. Okay. So that's setting up your job types, right? Let's keep this really, really simple. Now, the next thing that you guys are going to also want to take a look at when you're looking at getting set up or prepared for snow removal operations is then taking a look at your estimates, okay? Your estimate settings more appropriately, right? And where am I going with this? Well, we want to start taking a look at your terms and conditions, okay? So in your terms and conditions menu or terms and conditions library, whatever you guys are calling it, right? There's no right way, there's no wrong way, but whatever you're calling it, okay, you should make sure that you have a snow removal term and condition built out in your account, okay? So if I look at my snow and ice control terms and conditions, you'll notice number 1, that this legal agreement or this term and condition paragraph or text, okay, I guess to keep it in general, is available for service estimates only. Okay, remember, you're going to be using service estimates for snow removal work, not standard estimates, right? So when we start taking a look at our service estimate allocation, we can then start putting in what our snow and ice maintenance terms of service are, okay? And again, you just want to break this down and make sure that you've included everything and anything that you are legally agreeing to as the contractor and anything that you want your customer to legally agree to as being your customer. Okay, so keep that in mind, right? That's what these terms and conditions are for. So again, if you have different schedules or if you have zero tolerance or triggers, it's basically, as soon as it starts falling, you're out. Or maybe you've got a 1-inch trigger, or maybe you've got a 3-inch trigger, or whatever the case may be. You need to make sure that this is accurately laid out in your terms and conditions for your customers. Remember, when you guys include terms and conditions in your individual proposals or in your estimates, that is a legal contract between you as the contractor and your customer, right? What they are legally agreeing to as the customer, what you are legally agreeing to as being their contractor, right? So keep that in mind that your customer is going to be signing off on this as an agreement, okay? So we want to make sure that we've got everything specifically laid out for snow and ice control, okay, for your snow operations, right? What you're going to be doing and so on and so forth, okay? Make sure that that has been set up and is included in your term and condition library, okay? So that's basically setup step number 2. Okay. Another step that you guys are going to want to make sure that you've got set up in your accounts is also under your settings menu and also under your estimate settings, but for your divisions. Okay. Now, with your divisions, yes, with your Element account, we provided you guys with some basic ones. And again, if you've decided to expand on this list, more power to you. But importantly here, if you guys have a snow and ice division, you want to make sure that you've got it accurately set up. So when you take a look at your snow and ice division, okay, it's going to ask you for some related information to this snow and ice division. Now, this is where some of the little tips and tricks are going to come in, right? Now, I'm going to close this out for a moment. Up in the right hand, or sorry, up at the very top of your screen, if you right click on the Element tab that you've got open and create a duplicate of it, generally what I would recommend is on the original one, go into your budget and open up your current operational budget. Or if you guys are using divisional budgets for your snow operations, open up your snow budget, okay? Now, I don't use divisional budgets, or we don't use divisional budgets, but I'm going to open up my 2024 fiscal operating budget. And the first thing that I want to look at when I'm looking at my budget is my overall sales forecast. And I want to look at what exactly are we forecasting in our snow and ice sales for snow removal operations for this fiscal period or for this operating year. So in this case here, I'm looking at $385,000 in revenue. So when I'm looking at my snow division, I also want to ensure that that is set up for $385,000. Okay, so I'm just going to overwrite this right here, 85. Okay, and I want to indicate that we've got $385,000 as our sales forecast in revenue for our division. Now, secondly, I then want to start looking at my labor hours. So again, I'm going to go back to my budget, and then I'm going to go to my field labor. And then what I want to do is I want to start looking at how many hours have I got allocated or at least indicated to do that amount of work this year. So if I look at my snowplow operator with 500 hours, my snow walk shoveler at two employees at 400 hours, I'm going to double that for 800, right? Add in another 100 hours in overtime, add in another 75 hours of overtime, and that'll give me my forecasted amount of hours for my season, right? How many man hours am I going to dedicate to doing snow removal operations for me this year? Once I've got all that math done, okay, I'm not going to do it right now. It's really early in the morning, and trust me, my brain's still a little bit tired. I've only had one coffee. I mean, let's be honest. If I go back into my settings and go into my labor hours, I then want to indicate how many hours or how many man hours am I going to allocate or dedicate to doing snow removal operations. So for today's sake, my crews, not 100% set up, but let's just say I'm going to apply 2,500 man hours of labor to my snow operations in order for me to hit $385,000 in sales revenue. With that being said, I now want to look at my closing rate when it comes to my estimates. So do I close 8 out of every 10? Do I close 7 out of every 10? Do I close 5 out of every 10? Okay, what are the cases? Do I close 9 out of every 10? Now, be honest with yourselves when it comes to this one, right? Or else this metric is just not, or these analytics are just probably not going to be as useful to you as they can be. So in this case here, if I'm honest with myself and I say I close 8 out of every 10 estimates when it comes to snow removal operations, I'm looking at an expected closing rate of around 80%, right? It's pretty much what this is telling us. Now, based on what I've entered in thus far, Element is then going to do the rest of the math for us, right? Give your little, that gray matter a little bit of a break. So in this case here, based on my numbers that I've entered in so far, at $385,000 worth of forecasted revenue for my snow operations and allocating or dedicating 2,500 man hours of work to this, my revenue per man hour goal on every estimate that I create for snow operations should be at $154 per man hour. Okay. So this is just going to give us a little bit of a guide or a little piece of information that's going to help us to make sure that when we are putting our estimates together, we kind of have a little bit of a check and balance kind of put together. So we know that we're going to be looking at $154, okay, per man hour in order for us to hit that 385. Second to that, LMM will also tell you how many estimates should you have in your pipeline in order for you to hit that 385,000 or whatever your number is going to be. So if I look at this and I see that I have to have, according to LMN, at least $481,000 worth of estimates in my pipeline. Because if I close 8 out of every 10 of those, that should basically allow me to hit my $385,000 forecast. Right? So it's kind of making sense. Now, throughout the course of your season, once I save this information, once I go through the actual season, if I go into my dashboards and I start taking a look at my estimates, okay, my estimate revenue is actually going to populate for this information for me automatically. So as I go through things, right, I know that I need to have $481,000 in estimates moving forward. I also need to know that I got a $385,000 sales forecast. So based on that, I've got $29,000 worth of estimates currently in my system. So I'm well short of my 481. But as your season develops, you'll be able to track this in real time. So every estimate that gets created with that snow and ice removal job type will automatically populate your estimates to date information. And any estimate that comes back to you as sold will then start populating your sold estimates to date information. So again, all of this gets automated for you in the back end, so you don't have to worry about going through and doing any manual data entry. It's all done for you automatically. Right? Nice and simple. Okay. So final thing that we want to make sure that you guys are set up for in your price list. Okay. A couple things that you guys are going to want to make sure that you've got done in your account is material categories. Now, I know this says material categories, but realistically, this is just a category setup in general. So you should have, if you don't already, you should make sure that you've got yourself set up with a snow category. So if I skip over to page 3 here, okay, I know that I've got a snow and ice category or a snow removal category. Again, you do you. There's no right way or wrong way. Okay, I've got that category set up. So that way, when I'm in my price list and I'm setting up labor items, okay, in my labor catalog, if I type in snow, okay, it's going to literally provide me with all of my snow as a prefix, snow labor, snow shovelers, snow operators, and so on and so forth, right? Likewise with materials. If I look at, excuse me, if I go into my categories, okay, I can look at snow removal, and there is all my snow removal materials, okay? Again, type in snow at the very top, and in this case, it could be any category, okay? It will have anything to do with snow because I've put them in as prefixes, right? Snow salt, snow removal, snow caster, right? And so on and so forth. So again, every single item that you guys are creating for specific snow removal work, just put in a prefix, but also make sure that you've got it saved into your overall categories. Okay. So lots to set up. Okay. So now let's actually go ahead and create an estimate. All right. So again, like I said before, I'm going to be using service estimates. All right. So if I go into my service estimate list, I want to create a basic snow removal estimate. So in this case here, I'm going to click on plus new. I'm going to just pull up a random customer at this case. So we're going to use a good buddy of mine, Joe Walters. All right. So I'm just going to enter in here, Walter, click a quick search. I can find him there. Now, when we're creating this estimate, always remember it will automatically default to design build because alphabetically it's the first one that'll come up in your list. So you want to make sure that you change this to snow and ice, okay? Or your snow division that you guys have created within your accounts, okay? So we're going to click on OK. We've got our project name, right? 412 Toinville Road, snow and ice for 2024. All your basic information, okay? We don't need to go through this. You've already been through our maintenance estimating session. So for this sake, I'm not going to go through all the different steps with this one, right? You've got your snow and ice at the very bottom, okay? So now we want to start putting together our individual services, all right? How do we do this one, right? So again, click on your add service button, add in your actual service type of snow removal, right? So I'm going to go down my list. And I should have it. I wish this was alphabetical. Sorry about that one. Snow removal. Okay. So I'm going to use my snow removal one. And this one I'm going to set up as a seasonal contract. And we're going to forecast that we're going to go, I don't know, over the next 5 months. Let's say we're going to go 4 times a month, right? So that's going to be 20 visits, right? 4 times 5, right? Basic math on this one, right? Our cost code is going to be for our snow and ice division. We're going to click on OK. So now we want to start putting together our individual line items on this one, right? So we're going to go into our add items and templates. We're going to go to labor. And like I said in my, in my explanation a short minute ago, we're going to go into snow, click on excuse me, the magnifying glass to identify. And for this one here, we're going to have a snow plow operator and a snow walk shoveler, right? Pretty straightforward. Crew of 2. Keep things really nice and easy. What equipment are we going to need? Doing residential. Remember, I said that at the very beginning. Going to type in snow. Okay. And this one here is where I'm going to use a truck and plow, right? Very, very straightforward. I'm going to go to my materials. Okay. I'm going to type in snow. Okay. Look it up. And here's where I can add in my bagged salt. Sorry. So we're going to go into our snow salt bagged. Okay. Really nice and easy. Again, please remember, doing residential, right? We want to keep things really nice and easy. So we're going to click on save. Now, as the way I've created this so far, snow removal per season at 20 visits, we're looking at $137 per visit, okay? Multiplied by the 20 visits, so we're looking at a total contract price of around $2,700.40. Now, if you want to adjust any of your pricing on this, feel free. Your snowplow operator, maybe you want to charge $60, right? Your shoveler, $50. Okay, your truck and plow, $45. Okay, and of course, every bag of salt is at 12. So now we're at $167, okay, per visit, but based on a 20 visit contract. Now, at this point in time, once you've got this set up, okay, you want to make sure that in your client notes, you've got the information for snow removal. So again, go into your terms and conditions and maybe include what you guys do for a snow operations, right? So my snow removal service includes this, right? Here's our basic information. And then finally, you want to make sure in your crew notes, you've got all the information that your crew is going to be, or they're going to need to know. Here's my recommendation for you, and it's kind of a precursor into sessions 2 and 3 moving forward. In this location, please consult digital binder for all snow removal information. Okay, simple. Okay, very straightforward and easy to record in there, right? Again, and of course, do yourselves a favor. Maybe make sure you know how to spell things, not like me. All right. So again, please consult the digital binder for all snow removal information, right? Really straightforward. We're going to click on save changes. Okay. The last thing that you guys are going to need to do here, okay, this is very, very important, is in your client notes, you've got your estimate, footer, terms, and conditions. And in our normal estimating maintenance session that we hold every Tuesday or every Monday morning, okay, you've put together your defaults. So every service estimate that you create moving forward will basically have all of your maintenance defaulted terms and conditions applied here. You're going to want to delete all of these, okay? Because again, remember, we're doing snow, okay? So again, I'm going to start at the bottom, go all the way up to the top here, and I'm going to delete all of these notes. And you're going, well, Chris, what are you doing? Okay, those are all your legal agreements. Yes, but hold on. Remember, go into your terms and conditions and now pull in your snow and ice control one, right? Keeps things really nice and easy. So now I've got all my snow and ice control terms and conditions in one block of text. I can click on save changes now. And now this is a snow removal estimate. Okay. Now back to my services and pricing. I've got my price for my snow removal operations. And in this case here, I can go up and take a look at my analysis and I can see right now that my revenue per man hour on this job is $83.50. Okay. Remember what we said when we created our division and we set up our objectives. it was $154, right? So I need to increase or adjust my pricing on this in order for me to ensure that I've got a higher estimate revenue per man hour so I can hit my $385,000 target. If I go into my services and pricing, I can customize my per visit price, and I can say that based on a contract, okay, we're going to charge you $250, okay, for each of your visits, but in a monthly contract payment of $5,000 for your entire seasonal contract. Now, if I go back to my analysis, I'm at 125. I'm close, but I'm not right there yet. Keep in mind, everybody, that when you guys are building out snow removal operation contracts, if you guys are doing commercial and residential, or maybe you're doing mostly commercial, that is simply going to be a very, very easy way or an easy target for you guys to hit, right? Because snow operations for commercial is definitely a lot more billable, or there are a lot more billable items for commercial work than there is for residential, right? Pretty straightforward. Okay. So we're looking at $250, okay, for each visit, okay, but in a contract of $5,000, you know, you can maybe convert this back down to, let's say, 225. Okay. Okay, very nice and easy. Okay, so we're $225 or 225 per visit, $4,500 is a contract. Now, something else that you guys can use with this as well is another copy feature, right? So in this case here, I've got snow removal per season, okay, for 20 visits, but now I want to do a snow removal per visit or per push. So in this case here, I'm going to copy this service, okay? So my service name is going to now be snow removal. And in brackets, I'm just going to indicate that this is per visit, okay? Really straightforward. I'm going to copy all my notes and copy my crew instructions, right? Because I've already put everything into my seasonal. Click on OK, and all that information is now created down here at per visit. And of course, with my per visit, all my line items are there as well. But in this case here, all I need to do is change my per visit. And if you have, make sure that you change your actual snow removal service, okay, or set up your service types for snow removal accurately as well. And we've got snow removal season. All right, we're just going to have to leave that one in for now anyway. All right, but we're going to be building this out per visit, and we've got this one per visit. Now, here's what I would recommend. You guys do you on this one. If we're charging $225 in a contract, maybe if it's on a per visit basis, we want to charge a little bit more. Okay, so this kind of gives us an easier way to convert or to basically differentiate per visit pricing or versus a contract pricing. So in this case here, I'm going to go to my per visit price, and I'm going to customize my price to $250. So if the customer wants us to come and if he only wants to pay us per visit, we're going to charge them $250. But if they want to agree to a contract, we're maybe able to sweeten the deal a little bit more and save them $25 per plow and do it at $225. Okay, so again, it keeps things really nice and easy. Just going to adjust this down to 36 so I can get a nice $250 round price. Okay, and we will click on our save changes, right? So now we've got two services. We can now do this one more time by basically editing this last one, and we can now copy this service, okay? And this one is now going to be snow removal, and this is going to be hourly. Did I even spell that correctly? No way. Like I said, it's early, okay? Copy our notes, copy our crew instructions, click on OK. Save our changes thus far, and now we change our last one to hourly. Okay, and we keep our hourly rates exactly the same, or this is where we can start playing around with them again, right? We can say $95 for our plow operator, $75 for our shoveler. Okay, our truck and plow is going to be at $80 per hour. And lastly, our snow salt is going to be billed out at $15 per bag. Okay, so we've got a flat rate price based on per hour and an hourly service. So even though we're at $265, we now have our hourly rates, right? Keeps things really straightforward. Okay, so at this point, we click on our save changes up to now, and now we want to take a look at the actual proposal that we want to generate. So we're going to go to our print reports. We're going to select our report, and we're going to take a look at our service proposal. And in this case here, when we click on preview, we can now decide what we want to show and what we don't want to show when it comes to our overall proposal. So if we look at this, we've got obviously our customer's information. Thank you for choosing Big Mac Landscaping, snow removal per season, 20 visits per season at $4,500. This is what we're going to do. Now, the reason why I'm showing you guys this in full right now is because if you look back at the actual proposal that we generated, we included all three. Okay, so again, let's go back to our proposal. Okay, we'll click on preview again. And we can see our, we're going to use the page-to-page view, right? 20 per season. Okay, there's our pricing, 20 per visit. Okay, 20 or per hour. Actually, ooh, I forgot to change those. My apologies, everybody. So per visit, we want to change that to 1. Okay, and our hourly, we want to change that 1 to 1. Ooh, that could have been dangerous. All right, print reports, service proposal. Okay, so now we can see that we're going to be doing 20 visits per season for a total of $4,500. We scroll down, we can see 1 per visit price at $250. And if we look at our snow removal hourly, per hour and per unit, we can actually provide our customer with our hourly charges, right? Or what we're going to be charging for time and material type work. So it does keep things really nice and simplified for you. But the reason why I'm showing you this way is because you guys do have the option of showing your customer, well, you know what, sir? If you want to see what our pricing is like per visit, here is your contract, right? So we can show them that we're going to be charging them $250. So the estimate or the proposal that we're going to be sending over to the customer, all right, is going to basically show them snow removal per visit, 1 per visit pricing at $250. This is what you're going to get. And of course, at the very bottom, we've entered in our terms and conditions as to what we're going to be doing for you, right? Again, what is that legal agreement? Now, if the customer says, well, hey, you know what, Chris, I love what you've done here. The pricing is okay, but will you guys be able to give me a little bit of a discount if I agree to do an actual yearly or seasonal contract? Sure, absolutely. Let me get that over to you. So I can click on my services and pricing tab. I can then hide my per visit option and then show them the actual snow removal per seasonal option, right? Again, save your changes, go into print reports. Okay, and again, provide your proposal. Okay, really nice and easy. There you go, 20 per season at $4,500 per season, right? And that's with a discount. And you guys can include that in your client notes if you want, right? Seasonal discount of $25 per visit or whatever the case may be. It's entirely up to you guys how you want to address that, but customers should be able to do the math themselves on that one, right? Realistically. So keep things really nice and easy. And then, of course, with our customer portal feature and option, you guys can publish and email this proposal over to them, right? Really straightforward, back and forth, whatever the case may be. Now, one final thing that I wanted to kind of give you guys an access to or as a tip and trick on this one, I would recommend that you guys create this as or save this as a service template. Now, once this is set up, now remember this is for residential, so my suggestion would also be to create another estimate along these same lines for a commercial opportunity as well. Now, in your account, create yourself a CRM contact for a template where you can store estimates that you guys have created to be used over and over and over again. So essentially what I can do is I can go to my customer info tab right now and I can create a copy of this for a templated customer. Right? So I just use template. Okay. I select this one. This is a snow and ice. And essentially, oop, hate it when I go off. Change template. Okay, I'm going to select my template customer. And in this case, this is going to be my residential snow removal, okay, for 2024. Nobody wants to give me a dig that I can't spell today, huh? All right, so residential snow removal 2024. The status on this one is a template, okay, so that I know that this is not going to be used any further moving forward. But this is now a residential snow removal template that I could use for any of my customers moving forward now. Okay, so again, we're going to click on OK. It's using all the same numbers. I've got a seasonal option. I've got a per visit option. I've got an hourly option. I look at my analysis. I'm on target with everything and so on and so forth. So again, any residential customer that now calls me up and says, hey, Chris, can you guys give me a snow removal estimate? I could just use this one. How do you want to, how are you interested in paying per visit, or do you want a contract, or do you want to pay by the hour, right? You've got those options here for you, right? Keeps things really nice and simple, really straightforward. And again, does everything you guys need to do and keeps your estimating time at a very, very minimum. All right. So that's basically estimating for snow removal in a nutshell, right? Wanted to keep it really, really straightforward. Want to obviously take into consideration some of the features or some of the methods you guys have already learned about in our regular estimating session. But more importantly, what exactly did we cover off here today, right? So to recap, okay, we created a service estimate to accurately price out your snow work. We set up your client notes, your terms and conditions, obviously set up your payment contract so that you guys are set to go and ready to rock and roll. And then, of course, I showed you guys how you can generate a snow proposal for professional presentations to your customers. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to hit that chat box at the very bottom of your screen. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have in relation to snow estimating moving forward. Now, keep in mind as well, okay, you have access to any of our live virtual trainings from your help and resources menu in your Element account. So again, if there's anything that you guys want to refresh on or catch up on, please check out your help and resources option in your main menu of your Element account and click on the live virtual trainings options. Okay, all of our virtual trainings are held every single week at the exact same time, every single time, right? So if you guys are looking at estimating for maintenance work, okay, that session is held at 10 o'clock, 2 p.m. on every Monday. So hit that one up. You'll learn about the CRM as well as how to create your maintenance estimates. Additionally, we are hosting 2 snow day sessions or 2-day snow day sessions across, North America over the next few weeks. This week, we're going to be, our first week was held in Columbus. We're going to be going to Denver, Indianapolis. Where else are we going? Pittsburgh, and of course, back at Element HQ in Markham. So if you're interested in attending a 2-day in-person session about Element and snow removal work, check out our website under our resources and under our Academy certification program. Additionally, there's also some really cool webinars that are coming up that Mark Bradley is going to be hosting about snow operations over the next few weeks. So please check out some of these dates if you want. Scan the QR code in the top, or otherwise check out our main webpage at goelement.com under our resources, and you guys can attend any of these sessions. And of course, you can see the dates and times that these will be available. Additionally, Mark also and industry experts also host a weekly mastermind session, which is best practices within the landscaping industry, live every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. So again, please check this out, sign up for them. You'll be glad you did. And if you want to learn a little bit more at your own pace about how Element works and how you guys can use Element for maintenance estimating or job design or whatever the case may be, please check out our help desk or our Element Academy. All right. So again, these are great ways for you guys to learn how Element works, but at your own pace. And make sure you tune in later today for session number 2, where we're going to be taking what we've learned today in our snow estimating session. And now we're going to be showing you guys how you can create digital binders to make sure that your crews are more efficient moving forward. All right. So again, this is going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Eastern time today. All right. So please make sure you get that, you get registered for that session as well. So on behalf of myself and the education team here at Element, I want to thank you guys for joining me today for part 1 or session number 1 when it comes to snow operations in Element. Thank you very much for joining me. Please stay well. And if you're heading out into the field today, please stay safe. All right. And I look forward to seeing you guys all again very, very soon. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great one. Goodbye.